RPGamer here at PAX 2014 with the legendary Hironobu Sakaguchi. Thank you very much for letting us talk to you. Talking about Terra Battle today. Can you please give the folks at home a little summary of what Terra Battle is?
Terra Battle とはどういうゲームか。
基本はロールプレイングゲームの要素が強くて、キャラクターを成長させてステーリーを進めながら進んでいくゲームなんですけど、5番目上にコマがあるタイプで、
So basically this is an RPG game where there's character growth involved and you play through an actual story, but the game is actually grid based. So when you attack, the point is to actually flank your enemies to actually activate that attack, and you get your team to actually line up in that attack. So it's a new new type of RPG on a smartphone application.
So is this going to be something you pay to download, or is it going to be free to play?
これはフリートゥープレイのゲーム。
フリートゥープレイで、ゲーム内のアイテムを購入して。
So this is a free-to-play game where you actually buy an item called energy, and basically you can use that to actually continue the game or actually restore your stamina, so you can actually keep on playing the game.
And what platforms is it going to be coming out on?
iOS and Android.
iOS and Android. Okay. Now, what made you choose to go mobile for your next game, or why iOS and Android instead of a console?
一番大きいのはやっぱり大野っていうプログラマーとの出会いで、実はそのテラバトルっていうのは彼一人でプログラム。
So the decision to go over this platform actually based more on the team. So basically this game is actually made by one programmer, Mr. Ono. And then also he got great artists. He got 6 great artists. So the team is actually consists of 8 people. So he had a small team. So he's thinking what platform would be the best. So he based his decision more on the talent that he got. So that's why he went mobile.
And what made you choose to go free to play for your payment model instead of pay to play?
プレミアムにしなかった理由というか、フリートゥープレイにした理由っていうのはありますか? So first and foremost, he wanted as many people to play this game. So that's one of the reasons why he went free to play. But also he wanted to make a balance. So he doesn't want to make it so that you really have to pay too much to actually continue the game. So you can actually play through the game without, it might take a lot of time, it might take a lot of strategy, but you can actually play through the game without actually paying. And also, he considers balance a very important part of the game. So on the first couple of chapters, like probably the first 10, it's probably a little bit easier, but then the latter half of the game is an experience that you can get difficulty-wise in that game as close to console. So he doesn't, basically he thinks the balance there is a little difficult, but he thinks gameplay is very important, and also the gacha portion of the game. So basically he made the ratio of rare characters a little bit easier compared to other games, so you're able to enjoy the whole uniqueness of each character. And so if you choose, you can actually get those rare characters to enjoy the game more, but you're not restricted to actually need to get those characters.
A lot of our readers tend to shy away from the freemium model because they don't like the idea of not being able to continue play as long as they wish. They don't, and then you're being told you have to wait. What would you say to them to convince them to give your game a chance?
彼らのファンたちっていうのはそのフリートゥープレイにちょっとネガティブな印象を持って待たなきゃプレイできないっていうことに対してちょっとネガティブな印象があるんですけど、そのファンたちに向かってどういうメッセージを？
やっぱり例えばスタミナのたまる時間だとか、さっきも言ったようにそのゲームバランスだとか。
So he said, first and foremost, the game is free. So the players, your fans, can actually go there and actually play the game. But then he always says the balance is very important. So like the stamina and how it refills, it's pretty quick compared to other games. So he believes that there's always a balance. And he always has that in mind. But he's pretty confident that once people get the game and actually play in the game, that they'll feel that. The game was made with that balance in mind.
How does the story progression work in this game? Is there a campaign you can play through completely with the game you download? Is it being doled out in small pieces over time, or how does that progress?
ストーリーってどういう流れで進めるものなんですか?
最初チャプターが30まであって、それぞれが10ステージあるんですけども、その中で、背景が何種差し
So the game currently has 30 chapters, and in those chapters you have 10 stages. So between the levels you have art and you have the animated subtitles, kind of like the system that we have for Lost Odyssey. And basically the story revolves around 3 groups or 4 groups of species, and the planet is, in the danger of destruction. And what they have to do is go to this character called the Maker and get some answers. So at first it starts off in a fantasy setting, but as you progress through the game, it becomes a sci-fi and there's like a space war. He wanted to make the story pretty deep, but also quick so that people don't lose interest. Also, there's 30 chapters right now, but what he would want to do, kind of like the download starter, where it's more like a US TV show where we consider it season 2. So there's an ending, but then he also wants to keep it going as well. So hopefully with the download starter, we'll be able to actually add more content later on.
So can you explain more? The word download starter is that's a new term for me. Is that just the free pack by itself, or is that something you need to pay for, or how does that work?
So the download starter, it's pretty easy to understand in a way where if you hit a milestone, you get more content, music from Matsu-san or more characters from Amano-san. It's a very fluid process. So he considers what the development for mobile titles is a little bit different from console titles, where console titles, once you're done, you're pretty much done with additional content and with a couple of updates. But for mobile titles, he feels that it's more of a fluid process where you can actually add content, the game gets bigger and better. He kind of compares it to like a development festival where you can get his friends, or you can get fan interaction, actually make the games better, or you can do collabs with different titles. So he wanted to make it a fun, easy to understand concept. So number of downloads, which actually doesn't tie into actual money. He just made it easy to understand, and then also he's looking for Terra Battle to get bigger and better.
Yeah. So the term starter, is that distinguishing it from some other thing that you can download that isn't the starter, or is that just you're trying to get people to download the game, period? I'm just wanting to clarify that.
So the starter, there isn't a specific reason why we use the word starter, but you start off with 0 downloads, and then you basically get to that certain milestone. And so it's just starting and going through milestones.
Oh, you can ask. So to pun off of Kickstarter?
So then Kickstarter? No. So actually in the beginning he did think of a Kickstarter campaign, but to be honest, and he also loves the actual concept of getting people different people to actually participate in the development. But also he was so far along in the actual development that it's kind of weird to actually just get money. And also, in a way, it wasn't in his style to actually get people to actually pay for his development. So he made a little twist on it where it's not tied to money, but it's, especially because he liked the concept of Kickstarter to kind of make it a twist. So I think you guys noticed in the download start for the milestones, a lot of the people that are on the list are people he worked with in the past. Obviously, there's an opportunity to also get people that he doesn't know to actually start adding to the download starter. But for the people that's on the list right now, he literally has them on friends on Facebook, and he went on Messenger and said, "Hey, can you write me a couple of songs or write me a couple of characters?" So that's how it all started. So it's more kind of like a friend festival kind of based. So it could evolve into something else, but that's how it started.
What are the 2 goals on the download starter that you're most excited for?
ダウンロードスターターのマイルストーンで
一番エキサイティングな2つやっぱり楽しみなのは後ろに持っていってて僕なりに
I think he likes all the milestones, but there's a couple that he put in later on. So Matsuno-san's new story, he believes that that's something that he can't really predict. So he's kind of looking forward to it as well. And Amano-san's new characters, that's also another thing where he can't really predict, so he's looking forward to it.
character development. You have 165 characters, I think you said.
Yes.
Are they all going to be developed equally, or do some just are there more to be making your game easier, and some are more integrated to the story?
そのキャラの成長要素っていうのは165体あると思うんですけど、その各キャラでなんか特徴があるのか、基本的に全般的に同じようなペースで成長するというか。
165キャラ仲間になる。
So we have 165 characters right now, and within those 165 characters are monsters. And when you have monsters, you defeat them, and you become your friend. There's also different types, like human types, lizard types, beast types. So there's different types, so they're going to be unique in that way. And also we have the job changes, so you can actually customize your characters and get those skills and copy and paste those skills, and made the characters unique enough in their skills so that it affects their gameplay, the usage of them in the gameplay. And also, when you combine different skills with other characters in your team formation, it actually affects the gameplay as well. So the more you play in the game, the more you're going to realize some characters are better with each other, and there's a lot of strategy involved.
Okay. The story centers around the search for the maker, which essentially, I guess, the creator of the world, or at least so they think. What inspired you to go for that focus of a story, a very religious kind of feel to the story?
なぜその方向性に行ったかというか、その宗教というか、そのメーカーっていうのはちょっと宗教的なニュアンスがあるというか、その神的なことっていうんですかね。
何に感じるんだろう。
メーカーっていうと、多分それだけを文章を読むと多分神的なそのなんて言えばいいんだろうな、その人類を作った人のためにこう探しに行くみたいなイメージがあるんですよ。
どこを読むとそれ
メーカーっていう言葉ですか。
メーカーは何で使ってたっけ？英語でメーカーって言ってるのか。
そうです。
あれのことを宇宙船のこと。
はい。その音声に
話しちゃうと全部ネタバレになっちゃうんで、多分プレイする人はつまらなくなっちゃうと思うんですけど、やっぱりいろんな種族がまずその星に。
So saying, the more I talk about this, probably the more it's going to be spoilers for the players. So, but basically, it's a really weird situation having those races in one place. So they're looking for that answer. So that's why they make that. They travel together and find that answer.
When will the game be coming out?
This October.
It's October. Worldwide?
Worldwide.
Worldwide. Okay. And that's both iOS and Android at the same time?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Okay. Then say you get 2 million downloads on the first day. I mean, what are you going to do? How long is it going to take you to start delivering?
初日に2両見たらどうしますか？
パニック。
All right, well, I'm excited to give it a try. Thank you very much for spending time with us. This is RPGamer at PAX 2014. Stay tuned for more.